Hi, this is part two of the curse on the United States of America that God has placed. I'm reading out of Deuteronomy 28. Verse 23, God will smite thee with consumption, and with fever and inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with a sword, and blasting and mildew, and pursue thee until you perish. So consumption, that's just probably some sort of infection. In fact, let me look it up. Since I'm here and I got my computer up and running. I use the Blue Letter Bible to look up the Greek and Hebrew words. What is that, 22? Oh. They have a Strong's dictionary in here, so you can look up the Hebrew and the Greek. So, okay, consumption. A wasting disease of the lungs. Well, we see that with emphysema, lung cancer. All cancers are wasting diseases. All right, let me go back and look up the other ones. Fever. It means fever. Inflammation. Okay. Most diseases nowadays, we know, science has shown us that most diseases in the United States are caused by inflammation. From my experience in the medical field, I believe most inflammation is caused by diet, lack of exercise, and obesity. I think obesity is the main cause of death, disease, and disability in the United States. 70% of all Americans are overweight or obese. Overweight is just as bad as obese. Well, obese is worse, obviously. But inflammation means inflammation. And so we're seeing inflammation as being the main cause of disease and debility and death in the United States. Inflammation is responsible even for heart attacks and strokes. And then it talks about here about an extreme burning. People with diabetes often have diabetic neuropathies, and it's an extreme burning in their legs. And it's very painful, very hard to treat, by the way. So we're seeing this now. So, okay, talking about the sword. I mean, you know, think about all the murders that occur in this country. I think I mentioned on a prior video that my husband watches these true crime TV shows. And it's amazing how many people plot to kill their spouses. Sometimes just for the money. Oh, and because they found someone else. So I think we need to be really careful that we're not caught up in these sins, even in our heart. We can't be hating other people, especially not our spouses. Dr. Laura Schlesinger, she's a famous radio talk show host on Xfinity now. And not Xfinity, excuse me, Sirius XM, sorry. And she talks all the time about choose wisely when you choose a spouse and treat kindly. So if us ladies were doing both of those things, and if we remained kind and sweet and reverential and respectful and affectionate and loving and obedient to our godly husbands that we chose, I think we'd have great marriages and they would be happy, and so would we, and of course, so would our children. We cannot go around divorcing our husbands for frivolous reasons like he doesn't understand me, or we grew apart, or he doesn't pay much attention to me, or you know, we outgrew each other. You know, husbands probably would have zero interest in cheating and probably little interest in pornography if we were emotionally and physically and romantically available to them a lot more than most wives are. Just food for thought. It's not always the case, but if you have a Christian husband, let him know that the Bible teaches that viewing pornography is the same as adultery, and they call it a lasciviousness problem of the flesh, and people who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. Sometimes fear of God can be very helpful. More on this later in Deuteronomy about the judgment of God and the curses on the USA.